Before we jump into today's show, I've got a really exciting announcement to make. The autumn cohorts for Start Your Podcast group program are now open. There are 5 dates between September and October, and it's a 6-week program that will get you launched before Christmas. So if podcasting was on your to-do list this year, if you really want to get your podcast up and done by the end of 2023, then come and join me for one of those cohorts and let's make it happen. I have a free masterclass available for you called Understanding the Power of Podcasting. You can go over to donnaeade.com/masterclass, watch the masterclass and get access to that enrollment. I hope to see you in one of the autumn cohorts very soon. That's donnaeade.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the show. Do you ever feel like you get to the end of the day and you really can't put your finger on anything that you've done or completed? Do you want to be more productive with your work hours so you might be able to do less of them? Listen on, my friend. Many times over the years, I've sat down and started the day, got going, and ended the day having done nothing. Well, I certainly felt like I'd done nothing. Ever felt that way? I've read so many productivity guides, books, listened to so many podcast videos on the topic, but one thing that really works for me and has given me more freedom in my work hours is calendar blocking. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, so that it might help you feel more accomplished in your day-to-day work. I've heard both Amy Porterfield and Nikki Elledge-Brown talk about this subject, so if I can find it, I'll share it in the show notes. I have basically implemented the parts of it that suited me. So let me walk you through what calendar blocking is, how I do it, and how it can help you. What is calendar blocking? It's basically taking your entire calendar for the week in hour blocks and then chunking out those hours so that you've got something to do. It's not about writing something specific for every single hour of the day. So you don't want 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. I'm doing emails, 10 a.m. till 11 I'm doing admin, 11 till 12 I'm doing designing. It's not that granular. So what you want to do is actually look at the things that you do in your business all the time and block space for it on your calendar. You have to do it the way it makes sense to you. I have a weekly calendar. I know that Nikki Elledge-Brown, she does a 2-week rolling calendar. So 1 week she focuses on her client work direct with her clients, and the other week it's all the behind the scenes stuff, but I have that integrated each week. Things you want to look at blocking are your weekly content, your client administration, your business administration, client work, and your social media. Now, you may have more things that you would like to block, but that gives you the idea. It's not really specific things. It's not like work on so-and-so's wedding or edit this block of photos or, bake this cake. It's not as granular as that. It's the overarching themes of your week is what your calendar blocking is. For me, I just want to give you a run through of what my calendar looks like so that you get an idea of what calendar blocking would be for you. So I work Monday to Thursday, 9:30 till 5 p.m. and on Friday I have a half day, unless I have one-to-ones booked in the afternoon. So what it looks like is I start my day with half hour in my inbox and I end the day with half an hour in my inbox. So the idea is to get to inbox 0. Don't always do it, but you may have heard in a previous podcast that I'll link to in the show notes about getting to inbox 0. I worked really hard to get my inbox to 0, so now I want to keep it there. So every morning I spend half an hour in my inbox just answering anything that's urgent, filing anything that needs to be filed, and then I do the same at the end of the day. I might pop in there if I come back from my lunch a bit early. I might do a quick 15 minutes when I come back from lunch, just to check that there's nothing urgent that needs my attention. So on a Monday morning, after I do my inbox 0, I have a CEO meeting. This is me looking at what happened last week, where I am on my plan, what do I need to do going forward, am I moving in the right direction? I look at all my social media stats, my email stats, my ad spend. This sets me up for the week. Then I change to something more creative. So after my CEO meeting, which is 1 or 2 hours in the morning, getting all of that information together, I go on to my social media time. So this is where I upload and schedule my posts for the week. After lunch, I have my members' moments. So this is time dedicated to the members of the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. So if they need to talk about anything, if they have suggestions on the membership, if they want feedback on an idea, if they want to talk about a direction they're looking at, and they just want somebody to bounce ideas off of. When we're solo entrepreneurs, it's really hard to get somebody who kind of understands your market, understands where you're coming from, and can give you that feedback unless they are directly in your business. And sometimes we don't want to talk about our ideas with somebody who might go and take that idea and do something very similar with it. So they can call me up, they can book a 15-minute slot or 2 15 minutes, depends on what they want. They can book a slot with me and have a conversation, and then I go into my inbox zero at the end. On Tuesday in the AM, I have free time for one-to-one, so I give the morning away to one-to-one calls. These are networking hours. So I give it a little bit of flexibility. If I haven't got any one-to-one calls, I might move a block over into this space. So if I haven't got any one-to-one calls booked by the end of Monday night for these hours on a Tuesday morning, but say I've got a networking meeting on Wednesday morning and I can't do my usual Wednesday morning block, I would move that to the Tuesday. So there's a bit of flexibility when the time relies on other people being present. So if I haven't got any one-to-one calls booked, I will get on with bits that I know need doing, or I will move an entire block if I know that I've not got that ability to be in that block because of a meeting or something. So one-to-one calls on a Tuesday morning. I have an accountability call just before lunch with my accountability partner. We will have a chat and check in with each other. And then after lunch, I have an hour scheduled for social media. So this is either catching up with anything that I wasn't able to do on Monday, or doing some graphic creation, whatever needs doing within social. I give myself an hour there to do it because I like to have something creative. And as most of you will know, I'm a photographer by trade. And I like to be creative. So I have to have something that's a little bit creative and not just the administration stuff on every day, or else I think I'd go mad. So I have an hour scheduled for that. And then I have white space. Now, it's really, really important to block white space into your calendar, because if you don't have white space, you are going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to feel pressured, you're going to feel like you haven't got time to get it all done. Your white space allows you to book in a meeting with somebody that crops up out of the blue, or extend your time working on something that you know is going to take you longer than the hours you've already got blocked for that item. So white space is really important. So I have some white space there that nothing's booked in on. Again, Tuesday mornings, if I haven't got one-to-ones booked, then that is the equivalent of having white space as well. So any time where I've got calls booked in or call slots available, if they don't get booked, that's white space, which means that I can move stuff around or continue work that I was doing in a different area. And it just spreads it out a little bit, gives me a little bit more flexibility. So on Wednesday, after inbox zero, I do my content creation. So this might be masterclasses for my members, or course content, or anything along those lines. Anything that is not administration for my business, it is content based. I do that on a Wednesday morning. In the afternoon, I do my weekly email and website maintenance. So my weekly email goes out on a Friday morning to let you guys know that this podcast is going up. So on a Wednesday afternoon, I will prepare that email, make sure I've got all the links in there, etc., and that it's scheduled ready to go out on a Friday morning. The reason I do it on Wednesday is it gives me that time. So if for whatever reason something crops up and I don't get it done on Wednesday, I have a time on Thursday that I can do it. So website maintenance would just be me going in there, loading up the podcast, or checking that the podcast is ready to go, or updating things, moving things around, changing things. Anything that I need to do on my website gets done on Wednesday afternoon. Then on Thursday, after inbox zero, Thursday is basically my podcasting day. So this is outlines for ideas, interviews, editing transcripts, getting it all loaded onto the website. Depends on where I am in my batching process. So I try and batch my podcasts. So I will try and record them all at the same time. Then I will try to edit them all at the same time. I will try and do the transcripts all at the same time. And then I try and upload, get them the links sorted out all at the same time. So those are blocks. So Thursday is my block for that. So one week I'll be doing the recordings. The next week I might be doing outlines for the next batch. The next week I might be editing, etc. So that's how it goes on a Thursday. And that's basically the whole day I have set out for that. I will do the work that I do in the mornings, and in the afternoons is when I've got time for interviews. So if I've got any interviews, I will book them all on a Thursday afternoon. Then on Friday is kind of my, it's a pretend work day for me. I try and work a 4-day week. Doesn't always work, and certainly hasn't worked during the beginning of setting up my company, because obviously there's a lot of stuff that needs doing. But Friday is training time. So I use Friday mornings to complete any training courses that I've bought, go through any training exercises. If there's something that I want to learn, I'll go and find videos on it. So it's the time where I'm doing my self-improvement for the business. And then in the afternoon, I have more time for one-on-one networking calls. So I like to be able to offer people an AM slot or a PM slot, so that you've got Tuesday mornings or Friday afternoons, depending on their schedule. So hopefully by doing that, it gives them a time of day that best suits them, or a day of the week that best suits them. So that's basically the way I block out my week. This helps me to focus. I have my goals for the week, and sometimes deadlines mean that things have to move around, but it keeps me clear and gives me a roadmap for the week to have my blocks written down. So if you, for instance, have client work, editing photos or designing invitations, etc., you might want to use what I call my content creation section as an editing section or a design section. You might work on several clients within one block, or you might focus on one client. So for example, my weekly goals, I choose 3 goals. One is content related, like batch 6 podcast outlines. One is social media related, like connect to 10 new accounts on each platform this week. One is moving my business forward related, so connect with 4 new businesses through email or book one-to-one. For you, your content related goal might be complete client X's designs, or it might be finish client X, Y and Z stage 3 of the client process. So you would book out time in your calendar to do your client work. So, you might have it like Tuesdays and Thursdays are client work days. So on Tuesdays, you might do your designing and editing. Thursdays might be when you book in client meetings, something like that. It really helps, gives you a clear process. And especially if you want to do things like one-to-one calls or when you have client meetings, if you can batch those and do them all at the same time, or do them within the same time frame, it helps you. When I started networking at the beginning of lockdown is when I really started to focus on networking, and what I found was that people were asking for one-to-ones, and I was booking them in because obviously I wanted to speak to these people, but I was booking them in whenever, it was like, when are you free? Oh yeah, that's fine, I'm booking it in. And I would be jumping around from thing to thing and then having to stop because I was taking a call, and I didn't just jump on a call with no preparation. So I would be stopping 15 minutes before taking the call. Then I'd have maybe 20 minutes afterwards to digest, to make notes, to file the call. And it was just putting these full stops in the middle of my flow. So I just found it really difficult to actually get any work done. So the only way that I could do these one-to-one calls was to actually say, okay, Tuesday mornings, Friday afternoons, those are when I will take one-to-one calls. And then it meant that I was never going to be breaking up my content creation to take a one-to-one phone call. It just helps you stay focused on that one thing that you are doing. So I really hope that that helps you get a bit clearer on what what calendar blocking is, how I use it, and how it can help you. It has made a major difference to my productivity, so I really hope it helps. If you would like more help in batching and blocking your social media, I am running a social media content calendar creation workshop in September. You can find all the information over in the show notes at www.spwv.co.uk/019. The aim is to get your plan for the whole year, for a whole year's worth of social media post topics done in under 2 hours using my 2-step formula. The workshop is on special offer until the 13th of September. So instead of £59, it's just £29. So head over to the show notes and grab your spot for that. It says that we get it done in under 2 hours. We're not going to be on a call for 2 hours. So don't worry if you think, oh my gosh, I can't spend 2 hours on Zoom. It's not going to be 2 hours. We are going to spend less time as I explain the process to you, and then you just need to take a bit of extra time afterwards to fill in the gaps. So that's it for today. Go and grab the download and take some time to work out what your time blocks are going to look like. Will they be the same every week, or would a bi-weekly rolling calendar work better for you? Let me know in the show notes what your takeaway from this episode is, and thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe where you listen and share this with your colleagues. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a review where you listen. It really helps the show grow. And until next week, bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.